an appropriately patriotic introduction.
Happy birthday, America!
Happy birthday, America. We love you, America. You,
You.
not you. You gotta go.
Well, sometimes I love you. I'm
That's
Michael.
I'm Adam, and that was my friend Zach Lapidus on piano. By the way, his 15 minutes of viral video fame. It's fantastic.
Oh, that was beautiful, man. That was fantastic. I can think of no rendition of that song that sums up where we are in the country right now than that.
And it's no rendition of that song that's more appropriate for who we are as a show too. Really, it's kind of the highlight of my week is the 2 minutes I spend figuring out what the
intro,
what the pre-roll video is going to be for the show each week. Yeah. This is my favorite one. This is my favorite one since Easter, I think.
Easter was a really good one.
Yeah, Easter was really good too.
How was your 4th of July weekend, Adam?
My 4th of July weekend was pretty good. And tiring. Oscar has discovered that he really likes hiking, which is awesome and tiring. We spent most of yesterday. We wanted to get outside and be outdoors at some place where nobody else was. And we were.
Yeah, your tan's looking great.
Yeah, my basement tan is looking really good. But we mostly succeeded in that, and I don't want to blow up the spot, so I'm not going to tell you where we went.
I was going to say, man,
no,
like, I don't know. You just told me, and I'm like, I want to check this out for a bit before.
Yeah, you can check it out, and like people watching, message me, and if you're cool, maybe I'll tell you where it is. But the rest of you, I want you to continue not knowing about it because I want to be able.
If you're not cool and you're watching, message me. So that I can figure out who the fuck you are and why you're watching this.
So that we can block you.
I mean, you can message me. I'm not going to respond because I am still on my social media hiatus.
Yeah, it seems like it's serving you well.
Oh, yeah. I still have respect for people I know that I don't know their opinions on everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Knowing
cool.
people's opinions is it's totally overrated. Because like I can count on one hand or maybe two the people whose opinions on social media I actually enjoy hearing on a daily, weekly basis. I'm blocking people, unfriending and blocking and unfollowing on the daily, but the hot takes I actually like seeing. They're few and far between.
Yeah, probably the week of the sometime in August, I'll say, is the proposed open date for WERG to go live again. So may get that radio show back, and if I do, or when I do, then I'll be back on social media just to promote. So I'm kind of dreading, like I've got dozens and dozens of unread messages.
Yeah. And it's probably cool people who want to be on this show and just haven't thought to ask.
And just haven't, yeah. So if you're a cool person that wants to be on this show, hit up Adam. Adam Holquist.
And I'll tell you, maybe it's not really what we're going for.
956 Butterfield. Get a hold of Adam. So I too, I somehow through the divine grace of the energy that flows within and without each and every one of us and keeps us together and whole and is known as love. I somehow got 2 days in a row off on a holiday weekend.
Wow.
And so a friend and I were like, we're going camping because you can maintain social distance.
Yeah.
And then just, be outdoors, and it was a full moon, and I'll get to that. But I will blow up this spot because we had reservations at a campground to like get a tent and kayaks and like really go do it.
Yeah.
It's in like Titusville area. And Friday morning, they're like, nah, your reservation's been canceled. No reason given, like whatever.
Yeah.
So,
well, they probably found out. They probably found out you're a communist.
they did a reverse Google search on me, and were
Yeah,
just
found
like,
found the
this
show. They're
guy,
like, oh, this
he's
guy
hot.
can't come. He's not one of us.
So both of us are just like on these different apps, and we're going through and everything. And then my friend found a place, and I was just like, book it. They're like, it's different, and I was like, I don't care, like,
Yeah.
book it. And so they did, and they're like, all right, we're staying in an RV at an alpaca farm. And I was like, I just want to be outside, and that sounds great. Not putting up a tent, like alpacas, who knew?
Yeah.
Blue Rooster, Three Springs Alpaca Farm in Kennedy, New York, was one of the best times I've had in a very long time. It was absolutely.
I see that you now heart alpacas.
Gorgeous. Oh, I do. I love alpacas.
Yeah.
And see the O, and I prefer the O as a heart in the word love rather than just like I heart something.
Alpacas.
Yeah, I love alpacas.
That's a hot take. The preferring the word love with the heart versus just the heart.
Well, unless you're John Lennon wearing the I Heart New York shirt,
yeah,
then I don't
like that same shirt with I love with a heart for the O and Y it would not work.
It would not work. But you're also not going to pull off that shirt like John Lennon. So anyway, so Three Springs Alpaca Farm was absolutely divine. 17 alpacas, 2 horses, a llama, and my personal favorite, Pippa, the Kashmir goat, because I am the goat pope and I adore goats. So it was very, very cool.
You know how
chickens and ducks.
Patron saint goat for your goat papacy.
Yeah, Pippa the patron saint.
Pippa the patron saint.
The patron saint of camping and baked beans. So, like, it was such an awesome time. Steph and Ted, shout out to Steph and Ted. They were such consummate hosts. They were like, hey, we know you're distancing. We'll keep our distance and everything. But, you know, you need anything, you come see us. The propane tank on the grill was out and went down. Ted's like, boop, bopped right up and changed it. They lit a fire at their house, and we were like, we went down, maintained distance, had a drink with them, watched a fireworks show at a farm a couple places down. Phenomenal. Built a fire, then went up the hill and into like a clearing field to see the full moon.
Yeah, and then that moon was something.
Probably Jupiter and Saturn, although maybe Venus and Mercury, but I don't, could be some planets in a galaxy far, real close away. But they were lined up, and so it was the full moon, and then Jupiter or Venus, and then Saturn or Mercury, and just the juxtaposition of it. But the moon was so bright that a lot of the stars around it were outcasts, so all you saw were the planets. And it was soul satisfying.
Well, there was supposedly some sort of partial lunar eclipse last night too. Yeah, but I did not see that. I just saw a lot of brightness.
I didn't see it, but it was so bright. It was beautiful. But Blue Rooster, Three Springs Alpaca Farms, Kennedy, New York. It's an hour away. It's beyond reasonably priced, honestly. The RV's dope as shit. It's super comfortable, super clean.
Well, I'm sold.
You get to hang out. I pet alpacas. They came up to us, like one of the fences comes like up to what would be the front yard, basically, of the RV. So they're right there. It's awesome. It's awesome. Well, it was a great time.
The kiddos would love that too, I'm sure. I mean, as long as they didn't get bitten by alpacas, and even that would be like a story they would continue to tell.
Right? Where'd you lose that finger, Oscar? Alpaca Farm 2020, baby. It was awesome.
Well,
it was super cool.
It's good to see you. It's good to see you in good spirits. It's amazing what 3 days of petting alpacas rather than being yelled at by shitty people in the liquor store does for you.
And also, one of my favorite things is getting out of Erie.
Yeah.
Like and you just feel the gravity of Erie pull away from you as you go. So like if you're, south on 79 and you get like past Grove City maybe even a little bit further because you're
Yeah.
always, you're always on 79.
That's
So
like the
then,
event horizon is like once you pass
yeah,
80.
yeah, yeah, for sure. When you pass Vrooman Road going west on 90,
Okay.
at least the sign for
Yep.
Vrooman Road,
Yep.
that's about the draw. Like also 90 east, you got to get, like to the first toll
Yeah.
before you really feel it,
Yeah.
But
Ripley doesn't even count.
I-80, yeah, it's probably about 10 minutes on I-86 before I felt it. And I mean, it's been a minute since I've gone anywhere, obviously.
Sure.
But it's also been a minute since I've been on I-86, and so I physically felt Erie pull off of me, and I was a changed man. I'd been baptized. I'm a brand new guy. Hey. Otis Redding. Check it out. Anyway.
But
no, it was
keep
fucking
dragging
awesome
you
time.
back in, and here you are.
And it's going to take about 4 hours tomorrow before I'm just back to my bitter, cynical asshole.
You're like, fuck you too, fuck everybody, fuck this place. But that was nice while it lasted.
It was totes worth it.
Yeah,
totes worth it. I highly recommend it. It was beautiful. It was awesome, and for kids, it's a learning farm. So there's like the male alpacas have beards and the females don't, so that they're easy to recognize. Like you can pick up the hens. It's great. It's absolutely great. Well, there's woods, there's fields.
We got to do this. Like I'm gonna have to go upstairs at the intermission, and we'll have a whole conversation about how we got to book the trip to the alpaca farm now.
Absolutely. Like again, shout out to Steph and Ted for being fucking awesome. Like
nice.
It was such a good time, such good people. It was great. Amy, you do you, Amy. It was great to meet you too. It was super dope. All right, ready for some Angry Michael?
Yes.
All right, so
lay some Angry Michael on me.
Finally.
Oh, the hat comes off for Angry Michael.
Finally. And so this was Friday.
Yeah.
And since like my main peoples that I usually go see to get my haircut are booked solid because they're professionals, and they've got huge client lists because they're great at what they do.
I only go to
amateurs. So I had to go to like, Chattelville hair salon to, chip. And I put my bid for a check-in time in before 11 o'clock. And I didn't get into barber's chair until like 1:20 in the afternoon. But it happened. But while I was there and while I was waiting, I saw little fucking kids and retired people. Like, I just want to say, fuck you, you selfish fucking fucks, especially the fucking kids. No kid needs a fucking haircut to get by.
Right.
No one gives a fuck what a kid's hair looks like. Fuck that shit. Remember when workers were essential and it meant something to you? Of course you don't, because you're all selfish pricks, because America's based on selfish prickishness. And it was fucking awful. Like, fuck you people. You don't need a haircut. There are people that work and just honestly need it.
Yeah.
Like, honestly need to be presentable. And I cut my shower time by 11 minutes by getting my haircut.
Think of all the water you're saving. The environment thanks you, Michael.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Hi, Chris Eric. I see you. I'll respond to your text at a break. I love you, brother. I'm glad you're watching. But it was so, I mean, it's just another one of those microcosms that kind of seeks out the macroness of everything that's going on. It is this personal right that you are the star of your own movie. Everyone else is a bit fucking player there to serve you or move your character forward. And it's not. We're all people. And so if you don't need to be there, don't fucking be there.
Yeah.
Or at least give time. At least, anytime something new opens, it should be like, if you've been working for the last fucking 3 months, like the first week's for you. You can come in and get your toenails done. You can come in and get your beard. You can come in and get this shit because you're essential. You were once a hero. And now you're just a piece of shit that has to bag my stuff so I can get on with my busy day of doing nothing. Oh, fuck you. But it feels
Aw,
so much better.
I missed you, Angry Michael.
I still love alpacas, but I'm angry, man. We got a dope fucking. Oh, what are you drinking? I think you're sipping something tonight.
I'm sipping white wine because I'm classy like that. I tried to go out to our friendly local neighborhood beer distributor at 6:05 to discover that they're open noon to 6. So I am making do with what's in my house and drinking this bottle of white wine. How about yourself?
Is it any kind? Is it a Pinot Grigio? Is it a Chardonnay?
It's a blend. It's this
what blend?
apothic white.
Oh, Apothic White. Yeah, that's a decent
it's
white.
not it's not bad. It's a little sweeter than my than my tastes tend to run, but it's got enough like backbone acidity that it's happening. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't really particularly care for white wine, especially like it's just not my bag.
Yeah.
But a French Chardonnay will hit you totally different than a California Chardonnay, and I'm not a fan of domestic Chardonnays, but
like
French Chardonnay will do
the
all
ones
right.
that taste like movie theater popcorn because of all the like
buttery I don't dig on
oaks.
The
I don't
buttery notes of French Chardonnay's got that right amount of dry and just this finish that's completely different. But
I'm with you.
I'm back on my shit.
Back on your
with
bullshit.
The Spanish Red, the Rosa Bastardo, because I am the red bastard. But
yes.
Another Spanish Red, a Riojo of Tempranillo, I believe, is where we're at with this. So yeah, it's cool. It does its job.
Yeah.
Actually, I believe it's a blend. I don't know. Don't fucking
well,
matter. It's
tasty. Riojos are usually
sweet.
A blend. They're like Tempranillo and Garnacha and other stuff.
No more Garnacha for me for a while. That last bottle
after
of
your
the
Garnacha
Fuego
del
Diablo,
whatever.
Yeah, that was too sweet. Too sweet for anything. But fuck yeah. So we got a show tonight.
We do a show.
It's not just us. It's not just us bullshitting about our lives.
No,
but
although it is that for the first 20 to 30 minutes, reliably. But yeah, then we play.
We're interesting fucking people, Adam.
I like to think so. But then we usually play a piece of music and have a guest come on and talk about issues of the day. And then we do that for a while, and then we take a break so Michael can smoke a cigarette, and then we have another guest come on and talk about some more issues of the day.
Kids, don't smoke. It's a filthy, expensive, disgusting habit. I am addicted to nicotine and actually the motion and the feel of the smoke in my mouth, but don't ever start. It's terrible. And if you can quit. I won't, because I'm not a quitter, but it's the best part of my day, smoking cigarettes, when I'm not on an alpaca farm.
So, did you smoke cigarettes while you were petting the alpacas?
And then no, I when I'm not working, and I'm out doing it. I mean, until we started drinking, but
right.
I could lay off of a cigarette for a while.
Yeah, but
when I was on lockdown,
that would have to be some kind of multi-sensory experience.
Smoke a cigarette, pet an alpaca.
Yeah.
Well, holding a 7 and 7 with orange slices. Yeah. They live like a king. Oh,
yeah.
Peace out. R.I.P. to Detroit Red, but I still represent.
R.I.P.
Yeah, well,
Detroit Red.
because Eric had to move.
Did he move? Is that what happened to them? Okay.
I mean, he was supposed to, and I don't know because of everything that's gone on.
Right.
Who knows? But yeah. But,
I remember hearing about them having what was apparently their last show, and I was like, oh, that's too bad. Because they're I mean, I love Josh Gahn. Shout out to Josh Gahn. Shout out to any band that Josh Gahn is involved in. But I remember the first time.
14 fucking bands with Josh Gahn.
I don't judge.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're one that talk.
But yeah, the first time I saw Detroit Red, I'm like, these guys are just a serious, solid rock and roll band in the most solid, unpretentious kind of way, but they have a really good bass player because I'm a bass player and I'm hard on
Yeah.
bass players, and there's not an awful lot of bass players that impress me, and one of the ones who does is Josh Gahn. So shout out to Josh Gahn, shout out to Detroit Red.
Eric Milner's an underrated drummer, and he's underrated by himself.
Oh yeah,
But that guy's great.
yeah, absolutely.
He came in studio one time on the radio show, and he played a cardboard box and a tambourine
Nice.
for their percussion. And it was super dope, except then he left, and there were all these shavings of a cardboard box that had to be cleaned up.
Did you make Super Soul Saturday do it?
Yeah. Yep. I'm like, there's more of them. They'll take care of it. No, I believe I had some like charming baggage at the time, and they took care of it. So it was nice.
Yeah. It's nice to have help.
I love my charming baggage sometimes. Who we got on the show tonight, man?
We've got friend of the program, Cee Brown, on the show tonight.
Charles
Brown.
I love me some Charles Brown.
Yeah, me too. He just dropped a new video beginning of this week, I guess, and it's really something. It's a powerful piece of work, and we've been wanting to get him on the show for a few weeks anyway, and then once he did that, it's like, well, we need to do this now. So happy to have him on the show. And then last week we had our first installment of medical professionals dropping knowledge on people, which was great. And now we're doing the second installment of that tonight. Our friend Liz Kuzmish is coming on the show in the second hour to talk some actual medical knowledge, because
she's an actual medical knowledgeologist.
She is an actual medical knowledgeologist. Not an actual
Certified
doctor.
estate.
Not an actual doctor,
No.
but
I'm a doctor. Anyway.
But yeah, COVID-19 is still a thing, even though we're in green and y'all are acting like a bunch of jackasses. So we've decided that we need to
fucking mask, pussy. Just wear a fucking mask. This goes out. If you know an old white dude, kick him in the fucking nuts and throw a mask at him and be like, wear that. I think they instead of trying to enforce like some kind of mask wearing rule, I think they should flip it around. And I think we should be able to go up to people that aren't wearing masks and just fucking kick them right in the fucking worst place you can think of. Just like right a good old kick in the cunt, you know, just put a fucking mask on. Like I can't. Such a selfish fucking group of fucking people, the Americans.
Yeah, that's true.
Angry Michael.
Angry Michael's back. Lasted 26 minutes.
That gave us 20 minutes to cuddle.
Yeah, the thing I've seen going around this week is like the way to spin it is like, you know, the government has installed, you know, surveillance cameras in every public place. The only way to save yourself is to you know, obscure your face everywhere that you go.
Yep.
I like it.
And for the people that doesn't affect, their backup, and I've seen it 3 times in the last week. I'll say, you need a mask to be in here.
Yeah.
Them to leave, and then, you know, their Breitbart brain starts clicking, and they turn around. They're like, I have a medical condition. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. Step outside, and I'll take care of you. I'll bring your order to you. Yeah. And they're like, no, I want to be angry about this shit. And I'm like, well, take your fucking medical condition and go home.
Take your medical condition outside.
There's a fucking pandemic.
Because I don't want you breathing on me with your medical condition.
Yeah, I don't want to catch what you got.
Whatever.
Fucking syphilitic asshole. Yeah.
Whatever made up shit you got, I don't want it.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Charles and Liz are going to really, like, they're going to drop it. It's going to be a great show tonight. Yeah. I'm glad everybody's with us. I hope you have a tasty beverage. If you don't drink, solidarity, like, good for you. I hope that this doesn't encourage you just because we have fun. You don't need to drink to have fun, but you don't need sneakers to run, but they fucking help. So Good on you. We got some music or something?
Yeah.
Or should we keep digging?
Let's
keep digging.
I'm gonna be self-indulgent.
Oh, hey, I was listening to a couple of your latest releases.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be that self-indulgent.
I was on the
cool.
Bandcamp.
Nice.
And checked out some onewayness, and then I got into some of the Embrel, which was super dope.
Yeah,
that's a really good mix.
Embrel's got a new one just about ready to come out. It's done except the artwork because Charles keeps forgetting to send me artwork. So hopefully that'll be out sometime next week because we recorded all of our shows that we played together last year, which we only played together like 4 times last year.
Yeah.
But we recorded. We had a new release called Deep State last year, and then we went out on a little mini tour, and played abbreviated versions of both pieces on that, and then a big improv in between. But we got a new release coming out of the best of the improvs, basically. So that's going to be called Rest Assured. And that's coming out soonish, so keep an eye on the Embrel Bandcamp for that. But I actually got to play music with people this week, which was super weird. LEC played the Basement Transmissions live stream series that they've been doing this week, and got the recordings of that. We had a good show. Got together a couple times beforehand just to shake the rust off. Played a good set. Had good sound. Good sound from friend of the show, Brian Glosky. Good lights from friend of the show.
Oh, man. Brian Glosky. That guy.
Shout out to Brian Glosky.
What a solid citizen that guy is.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
And Jamie Probst from Jamestown has been doing the live video part of all of that with a setup not dissimilar to what I've got in front of me right now. But so yeah, I thought we grabbed all of that and threw all of that on YouTube. So go, after we're done talking knowledge at you, go check that out on YouTube. But I thought I'd play a track from that just for people who missed it. This is You Do You.
Shout out Bobby Jensen.
Indeed.
You can still come on the show, asshole.
Yeah. Well, I invited him a while ago, but then we started talking to black people instead. So we'll get back to him. Love you, Bobby. This is called You Do You.
Adam.
Let's go. Catch me riding with my crew, be prowling on pretty shoes. Honey's no Winnie the Pooh. How are you? What it do? We animals like the zoo. Tough times made it through. Now I'll do me and you do you. I was little, now I grew 6'3" from 5'2" at the start of high school. 28, now time flew. Freaking past the day's news. Stuck in the present, no clue. I'll do me and you do you. Labeled a misfit, I was never distant from living this dream. I always had, I never missed it. Conquer every minute, though some kids around they diss it. Never one dissing, no hesitation, I dismiss it. Others eat it up like Triscuits. They find it hard to let alone, they can't resist it. They fallen in abyss of dissonant hatred until it escalates and then somebody ends up a statistic. And getting cheese, I am Buddha, you just whiz kid. You got a pancake all that hate like it's biscuit. I reminisce when you listen what we cooking in this kitchen. It's so sweet and full of love, you can just kiss it. In the fast lane, we need drama sick-ish. Driving fast, man, but we ain't got a stick shit. Can't outlast me, I'm on top of my business. Staying focused and far away from 666. Let's go. Catch me riding with my crew, be prowling on pretty shoes. Honey's no Winnie the Pooh. How are you? What it do? We animals like the zoo. Tough times made it through. Now I do me and you do you. I was little, now I grew 6'3" from 5'2" at the start of high school. 28, no time flew. Freaking past the day's news. Stuck in the present, no clue. I do me and you do you. Ladies and gentlemen, my partner in rhyme, Tone Fudge. Check my view from on stage with my crew. Got the place going nuts, cause that's what we do. All the hate that you spew, energy should be used on your craft. I just laugh like Mike, check 1, 2. I got a show, so I show that I know the ropes. I can hold my own, flow grows and will explode. Minds defines character, step to me, I'm daring ya. Treat you
construction paper when I'm tearing ya. It's that easy, this late fuse or detonate. Don't let the lies blind you like pepper spray. Guess I gotta be the one to have to set it straight. Shit is about to get ugly like face, let them hate. That means I'm doing the right thing. Only get one shot to capture this lightning. Better get ready for whenever it strikes. I'm getting in position, wishing and thinking it just might.
Catch me riding with my
Crew.
be prowling on pretty
Shoes.
But these not when either
Who.
how I what it
Do.
We animals like the
Zoo.
tough times made it.
Do.
Now do me and you do
You.
I was little, now I
Crew.
6, 3 from 5
Two.
at the start of high
School.
28 now time
Blue.
forget past the days
No.
stuck in the present no
Glue.
I'll do me and you do you That's Mr. Dan Head on the guitar right here. Predator in this game, I'm attacking. Trying to be a thriller, Mike Jackson. All of the haters, we send them packing. Y'all know that the boys are never slacking. Predator in this game, I'm attacking. Trying to be a thriller, Mike Jackson. All of the haters, we send them packing. Y'all know that the boys are never slacking. So catch me riding with my,
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 catch me riding with my.
catch me riding with my crew. Be prowling on pretty shoes. Honeys know we need the poo. How are you? What it do? We animals like the zoo. Tough times made it through. Now I'll do me and you do you. I was little, now I grew. 6'3" from 5'2" at the start of high school. 28, now time flew. Forget past the days new. Stuck in the present, no move. I'll do me and you do you. Catch me riding with my crew. Be prowling on pretty shoes. Honeys know we need the poo. How are you? What it do? We animals like the zoo. Tough times made it through. Now I do me and you do you. I was little, now I grew. 6'3" from 5'2" at the start of high school. 28, now time flew. Forget past the days new. Stuck in the present, no glue. I'll do me and you do you. Yeah.
Dope.
Social distancing
variety hour.
The LEC from the BT. Super cool. What member of the LEC do you think would be the first to get the Rona? I think Foch.
Well,
least likely is Chris Head because he's just down at camp all the time by himself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's probably accurate. Well, and Foch through no fault of his own. I mean, he works in an environment where, he's more likely to encounter.
Plus,
it than
he's
most of the rest of
he'd walk into a room of it and be like, "Oh, great!"
yep. That's Foch.
Yeah.
Charles
gonna
Brown
Foch.
is with us. If you can't tell, if you don't know Charles Brown, then
Then you
Rocker,
should.
welcome to Erie. Thanks for moving to Erie. This is Charles Brown.
I'm here. What's up, fellas?
Everybody's black friend, Charles Brown.
I am.
Man, like I know because we go back just on a completely professional tip of just you putting out music and everything and your career in this city. Like, I know the shit that you took from your own community because of the shows you played and the people you ran with and the people that you talked to and the State Street rapper shit and all that other stuff. Like, and has it switched at all? Like, because you do play in front of a lot of mixed audiences. And I mean, the whole panoply, but you do a lot of white shit, like there's a lot of Rook and
not as much white shit as I do.
Yeah. No one plays in front of as many white people as fucking Adam.
I feel like, you know what? There's such a misconception that comes with all of that because it's like a lot of the black community will judge me because they see me doing a show in front of like a predominantly white crowd. And my concern is like, well, why aren't you guys here? So people try to make it seem like, I'm only meant for a certain demographic when I'm meant for everybody. You know, like first and foremost, I stand for my people, but at the end of the day, when I'm doing music, especially universal music, it's for everybody, and I can't stop, nor do I want to stop the people who come to my shows. You know, whether it's white people, black people, Mexicans, Asians, it doesn't matter. So I think people really need to just shut the fuck up and come out. For like
yeah. No.
Stop making it seem like, oh, I'm just only for this certain crowd, because I'm not. But I don't regret any move that I've made in my career. You know, if Celebrate Erie wants me to perform, I'm going to perform at Celebrate Erie. If it's Calamari's, I'm going to perform at Calamari's. Like, I don't care. I just want to do my music.
Yeah, for sure. How are you handling the lockdown and the isolation? Because, you know, you've been really making moves, like not just performing with everybody, but, you know, you're a writer, you do all kinds of journalism, and you do all kinds of critiquing. Like, you're doing those things, but has it been introspective? And then on top of that, with everything else that's, you know, finally coming to the surface,
right?
That you know, do you find yourself a more angry Charles Brown, or a more fulfilled, or a more focused?
More focused. I feel like, honestly, and I've said this before, you know, despite all of the deaths that we have had due to COVID-19, I feel like this whole quarantine situation has been the best thing to happen to us as a planet, because I feel like a lot of us weren't focused on what we should have been focused on. We weren't focused on self-development. We weren't focused on, you know, nature, you know, the state of our earth. We weren't focused on legacy. We were just partying away, you know, without any goals in mind, without trying to better ourselves. So with this quarantine thing, like, it's really made me take a step back and realize what I need to do. And it shift my focus on so many levels. So I'm happy. For me personally, I'm happy that this happened, because now I'm giving my energy to the things that I should have been giving my energy to.
Adam, the white wine doesn't help your interview skills like gin does. I was gonna give you space, and you're just like,
I was giving you space. I'm just appreciating. No,
I love talking to Charles. Like, there is sometimes, we're not all sunshine and flowers, but we're always good, you know. And so, you know, we've had contentious moments, but every time that we're in the studio, or even when we're just talking, like, we're always real with each other, and it's great. I love talking to Charles. I love asking Charles questions.
Yeah. That's why I didn't want to rap tonight. I just want to talk.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's good. And I like what you said. Like, it's like, I feel like the thing, and I feel like it's starting to slip a little bit now that we're back into the, you know, being green and whatever. But like, it took the focus away from so much being about consumption.
Yeah.
Just because, like, you know, people weren't going out because there was nowhere to go. People weren't spending money just to spend money because there was nowhere to spend it. And and that's, I mean, it's been good for me. It sounds like it's been good for you. But there were people who I think didn't quite know how to process that. And I think about it, even, I mean, it's slightly different, but I think about it even with businesses and, you know, people running businesses and how they're adjusting. Like, I feel like it's an opportunity, but also kind of a forced opportunity for creativity and innovation for people. Like, there's people who are just kind of sitting and waiting and complaining that it's not back to normal. And there's people who are figuring out how to adapt, figuring out how to adjust, realizing that normal is not coming back. So how are you positioning? I don't mean you, but how are people positioning themselves for, what the world looks like going forward, rather than wishing for the way things used to be.
You know what I want to do? I want to work 50 hours a week, not make enough money to pay for rent and for food, not be able to afford to go out, not be able to fix my car. That's what I want to return to. People were shit to me. That's what I want to return to. All these fake ass motherfuckers that want to think they're better. Like, be better.
The good old days.
But that's the truth, though. That's society.
I
just had this. Before this, I just had this conversation with one of my good friends.
Yeah.
About, how people just, they get up, they go to work, they work their 40, 50 hours a week. They wait till the weekend to party. Monday, come back around, they go back to that shit job that they hate, do the same thing over and over and over. And it's like, that's not life to me.
Right.
That's just not life. So with this whole lockdown, it's like, okay, you should be forced to think about, a different way of living and finding a better way to reinvent yourself and reinvent the world around you, instead of doing the same old routine over and over and over and then complaining about it.
Or just biding your time waiting to get back to the stuff you used to do. Like,
I want to wait in line to go to Target.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm gonna wait 2 hours on a Friday night to go to an Applebee's on Peach Street,
so I can sit in a plastic chair and
eat riblets by someone that doesn't get health care, can be fired at any time on a whim, and you don't tip them anyway, so they can't make ends meet, and you want them to be nice to you and serve you, and you put a penny in a water glass and tip over the salt. Fucking selfish bitches.
Angry Michael's back.
That's the world. That's the world we used to
26
live in,
minutes.
and we lived in that world for a very long time. And it's time for things to change.
Yeah, and and the people who are romanticizing that world, it's like why, and I mean, I honestly had things pretty good during the before times, but I have no interest in going back to the way things were in the before times, because I mean, I'm getting more time at home, more time outside, more time with my family. Like, I mean, before I was spending 45 minutes each direction. I mean, I was spending 90 minutes a day in the car just to go to work. And now my commute is from my bedroom on the second floor to my little home office over there. And stopping to make coffee in between, and it's like,
and your job hasn't stopped.
No.
Nothing has failed because you work from home.
No, like there are some aspects of my job that are logistically a little bit harder. There are some things that communication is a little bit tougher. Some things take a little bit longer sometimes, but the sausage.
But society hasn't fallen apart because it takes longer
for
logistics to go through.
Right.
The environment hasn't collapsed because it takes us 2 more emails to issue this permit. And
Charles,
they're telling us that we're not going back until probably end of summer, beginning of fall, and I'm like, that's fine, whatever.
I don't care. I'm looking at 2021.
Yeah.
You can shut down the rest of this year. I don't care, because I don't like I get anxiety from being complacent.
Mm-hmm.
So with COVID-19, being present, it's like it forces me to plan better, to plan ahead, to create a better future for myself and my family. So like, I'm cool with this lockdown because I don't have the distractions of the bar, the club, and the party life that I was immersed in. But I'm good. I'm way better than before. So.
Well, and it's like, you're playing gigs all the time, or we're playing gigs all the time. Like, I was playing gigs all the time, and it's like, And it's like you're not getting work done because it's just like the hustle from this thing to the next thing to the next thing. And like, at least for me, like, I didn't have my stuff in one place for long enough to be able to be like, okay, let's move on from the grind of like just hustling the gear from the house to the car to the show to the car to the house to the show to the car to the house to the show, and be able to just like sit still and think about something for a little bit and get something done. So like and you know, with as much as you were working and as much as you were playing, I wonder if
you went from like 60 to 0.
Yeah.
You know, the reverse BMW, Charles.
You know what's so funny though? Here's the ironic part about all of that, right? Last year, when I was booking shows for this year, I only booked up to February. And so, you know, I think I had one other show at Room 33 in like May,
Yeah.
but then that was it. So when the pandemic hit, it was just like, well, I didn't really have anything booked.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to keep doing the same gigs over and over.
Yeah.
Not that you know, I mean, I don't mind playing in my home city. Like I love it here. And I appreciate the establishments that let my band and I play. But it's like, if I'm gonna live that lifestyle of doing shows, like I want to do it out of town. I want to make more money doing it. I want to reach a newer audience. So it's like, what do I do? Do I keep playing quote unquote downtown for the same amount of money, or do I plan something out to where I can be more successful elsewhere and also gain more of an audience? So that was one of the reasons why I only booked so many shows this year, because I'm ready for something different. I don't want to be 40 years old still playing at, you know, the Rook. Like, that's just what it is.
Adam.
Shut your mouth.
Adam.
And what I mean by that, and that's nothing against the Rook, but what I'm saying is I don't want my career.
Fuck the Rook.
Not
necessarily the Rook.
I love the Rook, but I don't want I don't want my career to be based on just doing Erie shows.
Right.
Like I don't.
No, you've earned it. You've reached a point. Your shit's good. Like, and you've done it, and I know, because, and not even just going out to seek other fame and everything that you should do anyway because of your talent, but like, you've got to a point where you've played everywhere every time. And I think every good band or every working band, like, remember the days when you could see Brewer and Friends every night of the week, like, and they were playing great shows, but every night, and then they realized, like, fuck this, and now they only play when they want, you know? Right. And I mean, you've earned that, you know, that audience and that respect, that it's not like, oh, he doesn't come here anymore. It's like, fuck, you pay me. Like, I've been bringing people here for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have been. So it's like, you know, it's business has to come into play. You know, if you want me to come out or my band to come out, like, we have to talk a certain amount of numbers now, because I'm not a novice musician. Like, I've been around for years, and my bandmates, they've been around longer than I have. So it's like, I don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over for the same amount of money at the same places, especially when I feel like my talent should be elsewhere.
Well, and it's like, at this point, who in Erie have you not reached? You know,
right?
Like, there's more of a community out there in the world that, you know, you go to Cleveland, you go to Pittsburgh, you go to wherever, you know, you're gonna connect with more new people than you are by doing one more show in Erie.
Right. I mean, there's still a lot of people in Erie who don't know who I am, who don't know who any of us are.
Sure.
So there's still that crowd you can reach, but at the same time, I'm not making any new connections. I'm not networking with other establishments, other bars, restaurants, clubs, or whatever to excel me to another level. So I'm just trying to ascend as an artist and, you know, go for my worth.
Well, and like, what other level in Erie is there? When you're
like, you're gonna be playing the Golden Corral on a Sunday afternoon. Like, that's the audience you haven't reached, are the people that they wouldn't listen to you if you put on a free show in their backyard.
Well, and like, you know, that's a little bit where LEC's at too. Like, we're
Yeah.
you know, we're kind of in a
40-year-olds playing the rook.
I'm
No, I
I'm
mean,
I'm still
like
the only one who's
if I'm
40.
40
But
years old playing at the Rook and the Rook is paying me thousands of dollars, and
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah, so be it. But
Yeah.
that's not the case. That's not the case right now with any establishment.
Mhm.
So I
Right.
have to take my talents elsewhere to reach, you know,
Yep.
I guess new recognition and new connections as well. And I've actually had that talk, a brief talk with Johnny about it, because, you know, I mean, I played with you guys multiple times. I
Oh,
mean, I
sure.
just got done playing with you guys at BT.
right.
And, you know, with the talent and the power that you guys have, it's like, man, I want to see you guys go far.
Yeah.
Because your sound and your charisma isn't just Erie based, it's meant for, you know, other places to take hold of. So like I want to see the LEC go far just as well as myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Johnny and
So
Fawcett
sometimes
get
you
a
have
bounce
to
like
you have
that
to make certain
forever.
sacrifices and turn down certain gigs and be like, no, I'm not doing it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there does come a point.
Bills paid that bad.
There does come a point where not every gig is a good gig, and not every
Not every gig
opportunity is a good opportunity.
Right. I'll take, you know, some, but I don't think I'll be as active as I was, you know, the past couple of years with my band, because I'm ready for another level.
Yeah.
And I've been ready. So
has the stuff you've been writing lately changed? I mean, have you changed perspective, and not just with age? And I mean, and I'm not trying to like do some kind of thing like, are you writing, you know, Black Lives Matter songs or something? But like, have you, you know, do you feel a maturity in your music now? Is it introspective? Is it different? Is it trying to reach out because you're because of isolation of people? Or is it just more fucking rhymes that sound good and you're just like, throw a beat behind this?
you know, I haven't really honed in on a lot of writing. So, which is weird for me because that's what I love to do. Like that's my heart. But since maybe late last year, I haven't really been writing as much. And I don't really know why that is, but the things that I have written, I don't know if there's a difference between what I'm writing now and what I was writing then, but I think my approach is more mature. Like there's some certain things I'll write, but I won't put it out because I feel like it's not, people aren't ready for it yet. You know, as before, It's like, oh, if I go to the studio, write it, record it, I got to put it out immediately. Where now it's like, no, I'm going to hold on to it until I feel like it's time, until I feel like people actually appreciate what I'm doing. Because as much as I've been putting out music and loving it, I feel like a lot of that was wasted in the sense of people not really taking heed of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I want to reach the people that listen to music, that appreciate every word that's coming out of my mouth on a record. You know, because you can put out music all day long, but it's just going to get lost in the ocean of everybody else putting music out.
Well,
and I
feel like that's kind of a product of that kind of SoundCloud mentality of like, got to keep the content flowing, like drop a new track, rather than like sit back and wait till you got some sort of, I mean, I'm an old guy, so I'm like, I kind of come from that album mentality of like you wait and you collect until you've got 30, 40, 50 minutes worth of statement to make, rather than here's a track that has nothing to do with the track that came before, here's another track that has nothing to do with that one. Like I feel like it creates a different kind of narrative when you've got like, here's a collection of material, here's another collection of material, rather than and I think there's a place for both, but
and there is, but I appreciate the concept of quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And I'm just now understanding that, because when I started, it was like I got to put out as many songs as I can, so people can take notice of me. But I didn't realize that there's 200 other rappers in the city who are doing the same exact thing, and people in Erie, they'll scroll past it on Facebook, they'll scroll past it on Twitter or whatever platform you use. So I'm like this. If I have something special, I'm not going to put it out with 12 other songs
Right.
simultaneously. Like the video that I just put out, you know, that was special to me.
Yeah.
I knew in some fashion that it was powerful, so I didn't promote it like a regular song. I didn't say that I was coming with something. I just put it out there, and then that was it. So my approach with
Well, and
music
it's
is
like
different.
the way you've been doing your last several of them. It's like anything that you do is like an event.
Yeah, yeah, and I've always been that way. I've always been eventful minded because what artists have to realize is that when you're putting your heart into your music, you can't just put it out there like it's nothing.
Right.
Like you just can't. So I make everything I do an event. It has to. I treat everything I do like a holiday. That's just how. That's always been my strategy. I don't know where it comes from, but I just don't want to be forgotten. I don't want to be overlooked. I don't want to be underappreciated. So I always try to find different marketing schemes to grasp people's attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to Hakuna Matata, the whole thing, like the idea of patience, that patience that people don't have with, you know, low wage workers at a restaurant, and the patience that people don't have to appreciate someone's art and their music in its time, the patience that they don't have to reflect on themselves and where they are at this moment, like this figuring out this lack of patience, I think works well for everybody, but especially an artist right now, to know that, like, not just the quantity over quality part of it, but just the ability to live within a moment, you know, to actually eat a peach and not just merely consume it, you know, like one of those things where it's to really, like, to know that you can't just grind all day. Like, you can't just make a bunch of music and then go to a country fair parking lot and sell that music while you make more music and never live and appreciate and do it. Like, you have to take time to get into it. You have to take time to develop the ideas, because, like, the shit you just put out 7 of, if you would have held on to 3 of them and really developed an idea, that's worth way more than being like, new fire on the line. Like, dude,
because when you put out so many tracks, okay, you know, I commend the artists that do, because I was that artist, but it's like, to the general public, you're seen as somebody that just raps a lot, but nobody knows who you are or what your character is or what you're actually talking about, because you're not giving them that 1 or 2 special moments to actually indulge in and savor. You're just putting out so much music at a rapid pace. Nobody with the attention span nowadays. Nobody's gonna sit down and listen to all 17 of your mixtapes that you just dropped in 2 days.
Right.
That's just not what it is.
And when there's something new every couple days or every week, it's like, and I've had this conversation with friends of mine in the, like, noise and electronic side of things too, like people who put out a lot of music. It's like, how?
Wow, that's a really low drone. Good job.
But I mean, I've had friends who literally released like 20 plus albums a year, and it's like, you know, how do you as a listener prioritize, like, when there's something new constantly, it just turns into this blur of content, and like nothing rises above anything else. And, you know, if you've got something, like, how do you distinguish anything from anything else that you're doing at that point? It's like, well, this one's special, but this one's just the next one. You know, because, you know, when you got more than a couple songs, you're always going to have a couple that's like, oh, this is a good one, this is a good one. And, you know, they can't all be those.
They're not all bangers.
They're not. Yeah,
on,
I mean, not every song is going to be the single, but But you know, when you're dropping something every couple of days or every week or every couple weeks or whatever it is, you know, there's kind of nothing nothing in the way that you're doing that makes people sit up and pay attention to, like, this one is the event, this one is the important one that you need to pay attention to.
I mean, one of the reasons people became artists was not just because of talent, but because, like, you got to put something out, go all over the place and read it, perform it, sing it, do it. And then you got to go fucking chill, drink, imbibe, indulge, live, love, lose, cry, and make more art.
Yeah.
You can't just keep fucking making shit without living.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the things I really, you can't just keep fucking singing about money.
You need that, like,
or you can't just keep singing about women or love. Like, you need to go do it. Do it and find it. Like, go spend all this money you're fucking making and make a difference, and then sing about how you made a difference. Go love somebody and really love them until they love you back and can't lose it, and then tell me about it. Like, but don't just keep putting shit out there because it rhymes.
Well, and you need that, you need that, like, refractory period in your life too, where it's like, you made the thing, you go do the thing, and then you need to, like, retreat to do the next thing rather than do the thing, do the thing, do the thing.
Yeah.
Hustle.
Right. If you're making Model T cars, you could just keep crank the wrench. But if you're making music or art or poetry, like, you can't. Like, you got to beat that wrench all over the place. You got to beat your capitalist boss into submission with your wrench. And then you go live a life and fucking write about it.
That's one thing I respect about Adele, actually. And because you don't hear from that girl for like 3 years, and then out of nowhere she just comes out with an album, and it does like 5 million in like 3 days. And it's like, where were you at this whole time? She was living life in order to create this masterpiece.
Right.
Like, every album is like multi-platinum. It's just crazy because, like, she doesn't drop music like a lot of your contemporaries. She drops something, she lets it sit with you for 2-3 years, and then she comes out again.
Right.
And I think that's what separates, your average music makers and your actual artists.
Well, like, one of the terrible things, personally, about this horrible situation we're in now is that my dear friend Jerry had procured us tickets to see the Rolling Stones this summer. And I love the Rolling Stones because that's just my little white suburban heart, But that's how I found real blues and music, is through, these British dudes that stole it from us and then sold it back to us because America's stupid and selfish. Anyway, but the Rolling Stones have been around for decades as a band, and yet have only released so few albums. And of all of the albums that they have released, there's really only a small time frame in which you can really say, like, holy shit, you guys were changing things. Everything after that was just like, well, here's a Stones album.
Yeah.
And there's one track that you can be like, damn, they still got it. The rest of it is like, yeah, that's the Stones playing.
They still got one. The rest of it sounds like the Stones sounding like the Stones.
Yeah. So, I mean, to just keep, and that's the fucking Rolling Stones, like, what are you going to do? You can't just keep going with all this music. You need to,
there's all these like legacy artists out there who, like, I get annoyed at the way they talk about it sometimes, but, like, the way they talk about it sometimes is like, it doesn't make business sense to make new music. And to me, I'm like, well, fuck that. If you got music to make it. But like, there's people, and bands that I love who know they don't have anything left, and that's sad. But at the same time,
I wish more Erie musicians knew they had nothing left.
Well, the thing is, there's a lot of Erie musicians, and it's funny you say that. There's a lot of Erie musicians who, I think a lot of them are they just barricade themselves. They don't really go out. They don't really live. Like you see the average bands who play avidly, and then they just go right home after every show. They just go home. When you contact them, they're at home. They don't do much. They don't really experience anything. So when it comes to creating new music, they probably don't have anything to talk about because they're so introverted and just rather be at home away from the world. And that's just like, I think that hinders you as an artist.
Well, I don't know. There's Todd Parapasic.
I mean,
Yeah, there is Todd. I do love Todd.
Yeah, I love his music.
I mean,
Sing to me about your mom's cat.
I mean, that's not to knock anybody, but my music comes from experiences, and
Yeah.
I don't try to act like a know-it-all or a vet. But one thing that has helped me with songwriting is living life, which is why at one point in time you saw me out Sunday through Saturday, which is not necessarily a great thing, but it adds to, I always have something to talk about. So now, with looking back at everything and how I approach music, I'm trying to practice patience and not always release something simultaneously, and kind of like just hold on to certain things and let one song do its job, because you can't put so much into a song and then release like 5 other CDs without letting that job take hold of the world.
And it seems a little bit like you're now like, okay, I've gone out and lived enough life and logged enough stories that now I need to like sit my ass at home and take some time to tell them.
Yeah,
Definitely.
seriously. And that's what I do. And I like to be alone. Like, I love my solitude because now I can channel those stories. Now I can think about them. Now I can think about how I want to convey them, or think about what audience it might touch or affect, or who it might offend even. So all of those years of going out and living life has got me to this point where it's like, okay, now I can really be the artist that I need to be. I just need to sit put and just put everything into perspective.
You've been lifting weights, or is that shirt just cut like that?
I don't. It's so funny. I actually went grocery shopping today because I'm changing up my diet. So I'm trying to bulk up a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, not much.
You look good. You look good on video. The camera adds the right 10 pounds.
Add it in all the right places.
That's
so let's talk about Letter to the Police.
Let's take a break because we've got an important, knowledgeable medical knowledgeist coming on the show.
Well,
and I bet she has to work at some point.
Yeah, that's true too.
And so and then Charles, are you sticking around with us?
I'll stick around for a little bit. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
See, we can do that.
All right.
Plus, Daddy wants a fucking cigarette. My union contract with this show,
Michael's promised a cigarette every
president
70 minutes.
Of the union. And Daddy needs his fix.
All right. This is my friend Carl Fury. This is a new piece of music from Carl Fury called Time Lapse Relapse. We'll see you in 10 or 15.
Social distancing radio.
Social
distancing right now.
We're
We're fucking professionals.
We are.
I'm Michael.
I'm Adam.
That's Adam. That's Charles Brown. And Liz is with us. Hello, Liz.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
Liz Kuzmish of the infamous East Side Kuzmishes.
Of the Kuzmish.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure
I only
you've told me that before.
I only say it one way, and I'm not changing.
Yeah,
not for nobody.
He's
not
very,
even
he's very set in his ways.
This is my Confederate statue that I'm going to keep up.
Mispronouncing the name Kuzmish.
All right, we'll let it slide.
There's no choice. It's just there. He's on a horse. The one leg is up, so that means he died in. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Pull down those fucking statues. What a fucking waste of a fucking celebrating losers. That's so American. Speaking of losers, I was so adamant that I didn't want to hear any more of Adam's detroitable talk that I was just like, let's go to break, and I was out of bounds because he was really trying to
introduce a thing and be
to do the right thing because we have a new video from Charles
and be like, hey, Cee Brown, tell us about Letter to the Police.
Well, I was kind of bummed when you asked that question, and then Fazed Cookies, Michael, just decided, okay, we're not answering the question. So I was like, oh no.
Well, now you're here to hear the answer, so
cool.
Hopefully that's cool.
Hopefully.
If not, I'll give you your money back. So Brown, tell us about Letter to the Police.
Oh, that just sounds. The more you say it, I'm just disturbed by that. Tell us about your Letter to the Police. So it's no secret about what's going on in our society and what has been going on, and I'm not usually socially or politically active. Not to say that I don't feel or that I'm unaware, but it's just one of those things that I've never really knew how to speak upon. So with everything that's been going on, I just kind of been fed up to the max with our law enforcement and with our judicial system and how everything is handled when it comes to, minorities. And I just kind of wanted to put out my cry for help and my frustration at the same time, because even though we're going through a racial issue, it's also bigger than that. It's about right and wrong. It's about good and evil. And those who are supposed to, patrol our streets and keep us safe and protect us are actually, some of them are actually criminals themselves, and it's justified or it's overlooked. So I just wanted to put out a statement, saying that this is what's going on. It's not right, and we need to make some changes.
All right,
it doesn't matter what color you are. Wrong is wrong.
Let's get into it.
Get down! Get down! Get down! Get
I see pain, what I left in the past. I see pain at the bottom of this glass. I see pain, what I'm missing from that. I need change, man, I'm fiending for that. All these stains on my brain and my back and my pain, I put it all up on these tracks. These stains that will never get back. We need change, will we ever get that?
Pardon me if I seem angry, but I can't deal with the strangulation, the scars and hanging. I can't deal with the stigmas you set upon my skin. I'm human just like you, but it's hard for you to see past the tint. But here we are in another time with the same crimes that your kind gets away with, like the judge is blind. Messed up inside from the years of oppression. My tears are neglected as you seem to force fear in your methods. Inferior man, I am not, with your knee to my neck. And the chief of police won't keep his demons in check. Evil threats, actions, and murder, forget it, badge. I'm praying for a judicial system that we never had. My skin tone is too loud for you, so you silence us. Protesters and rioters rally up to be loud enough. My hands are up, still you beat me without an answer as the Star Spangled Banner plays across every scanner.
I see pain when I left in the past, I see pain. At the bottom of this glass, I see pain. What I'm missing from that, we need change. Man, we fiending for that. All these stains on the brain and I'm back in my brain. I put it all up on these tracks, these stains that will never get back. We need change, will we ever get that?
Why am I paranoid when a cop car is behind me? Why am I trembling when there's an officer beside me? You want my dreams splattered on your riot gear. I was reaching for the sky, but there's a sniper there. Nazi with the badge, Klansman with the gun. White power in a uniform protecting us none. You can kill someone like me, then go have supper with Susan. Kiss your children goodnight while someone's mourning their son. Not a death on your conscience as you're filling these coffins. You don't see us as equal, only a target you lock in. I was made to be awesome, I wasn't made for your carnage. Yeah, my color is black, but you come with the darkness. I'm just a stain to your flag, I'm just a part of your quota. I'm looking at my black babies worried about where they grow up. Like every minority seed is a problem child. It's time to take you pigs to the slaughterhouse. How about it?
I see pain when I left in the past. I see pain at the bottom of this glass. I see pain. What I'm missing from that, we need change. Man, we fiending for that. All these stains on the brain and I'm back in my brain. I put it all up on these tracks. These stains that will never get back. We need change. Will we ever get that?
Get down!
And these days, even when it's down, keep my head up. Plenty times trying to keep my head up. Hear the cries from the dogs, feeling fed up. We just trying to keep our head up. Left, right, with our head up. Praying that should get better.
Social distancing variety hour. That's Cee Brown featuring Anthony Rogers, Letter to the Police. So tell us about Anthony Rogers. That's a new name and a new face to me.
Yeah, he's it's funny, he's been around for some time. I met him at a show at PACA. I think he was like freshly 21, maybe 20 at the time. And I took hold of his talent because of the things that he was saying. And so I linked up with him, and intermittently we just been working on music. And lately, as far as this year is concerned, we just been getting real creative and just experimenting. No time constraints, no one overlooking the studio process or anything. Just two people coming together and just creating out of the love for music. And we just come up with a lot of brilliant ideas, from songwriting to producing. And yeah, he's just somebody that I feel like people should look out for, because he's so talented, and people don't even realize, he doesn't even realize what he has, because he can produce, he can rap, he can sing. He's all around, a great artist. So
I feel like Erie's got so many people lurking in the background like that. Like, I mean, I'm relatively in touch, I feel like, with things that are going on in the Erie music scene, but just even in the course of the couple months we've been doing this show, we found all of these people that we're not.
If Adam Holquist doesn't know you, you haven't made it in the Erie rap scene.
Oh, hush.
Who did that video? Who all was in that, and who wrote that? Because that was powerful as shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
the lyrics are fucking great, but I mean, that video was damn.
That's intense.
Well, my friend Mike Golab, he goes by Exhibit 1 Productions. He shot and edited the video, but I directed it. So I wrote the video for it, and I had him come shoot it. So I've been trying to take on more of a director's role, because I just enjoy it. I don't know what it is. I just love to write overall. So when it came to this song, I was like, I just saw the video in my head before I even, put the pen to the pad. And I was like, hey, I presented it to Mike. He liked it, and we just went for it.
This acting ain't all it's cracked up to be. I'm a director now. Sid, like, Charles, that's one of the things I love about you, like, because you are a talented musician and everything, but then you're like, oh, I'm also a journalist, and boom, you're a journalist. You're like, oh, I'm a director, like, boom, you're a director.
Yeah,
I
also play piano.
You've got a really
play piano for
thought
yoga
about
classes.
yourself.
I just like to create, man. I don't think I'm better than anybody. I just love art.
He's so modest. All the mothers love him. Even the white mothers.
I've been there.
Yeah.
So
my mom.
I bet you. I've heard things.
Yeah, me too.
Right? That's the worst part of Erie fame, is that the town's so small and there's such a limited, like, even with all the party lifestyle and all the house parties and all the chill people you can be around at certain times.
There's
like,
house parties? I don't get invited to house parties.
Because you got to pack up your gear and drive to Indiana the next day.
Yeah, that's true.
The worst part about
and Ren can't come.
The worst part about Erie fame or celebrity or whatever you want to call it is that
it's all the bullshit.
They take notice of you, but they inquire about the wrong things. So like if you're a brilliant like violinist, they'll ask about your love life before they ask about how you learn how to play the violin.
Yeah.
That's what I hate.
Yeah. Yep.
They'll ask you what high school you went to.
Right.
Yeah.
Or what middle school you went to.
Yeah.
Right.
How come you don't know my friends?
Yeah.
Wow, like let's go from police brutality to a pandemic that new numbers
Sunday
say
fun
could
day.
kill 500,000 Americans could be dead by the end of the year because of how we have not handled this shit. So let's bring Liz back in on the like, you know, like straight on, just like let people know a little bit about your, you know, medical knowledge, but also like how fucked are we on a scale of 10 to 10?
So on a scale of 10 to 10, I will just say that there already have been 500,000 deaths. So get that number. Not a laughing matter, but
no, but pneumonia is just out of control.
Well, you definitely can get pneumonia from COVID, and that's how a lot of people are dying.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of misinformation going around, and it changes so fast on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, pretty much like we're 10 out of 10. We're not doing well, and I don't know if the interventions that we're taking are really doing much for that, you know? So, but anyways, I'm Liz. I work at a local hospital. I work with COVID patients on a pretty regular basis. I work with some other kinds of patients too, but lately it's been mostly COVID. And I'm an RN. I'm going to school to be a nurse practitioner. So like, really all I can tell you is that, you know, whatever information that I'm giving you is from my experiences, the research that I've done as far as, you know, reading journal articles and watching the news and, you know, looking at social media and the misinformation going on and all that stuff.
How bad is it here?
I think it's not too terrible here. And the thing about that is we have a really low population density. So we're not like a big city like New York or
like Houston or Miami or any of the other ones that are shutting down again.
On top of each other. So that works in our favor. We do have a pretty large elderly population, and so some of the cases are going to come from that. And I actually looked up some stats like before
because we
did this just so I could give you real numbers. And
you've done more preparation for the show than I have, Liz.
I guess that's just the kind of person I am. Erie County, we've had 650 positive cases. I don't have here how many deaths, but in PA, 6,700. And PA has actually been like touted as being one of the best responses to the pandemic. on a state by state level. So I, personally, I don't think our county in particular is getting the brunt of it, but we are really close to some hot spot areas. And obviously it's moving around the country now. So,
I mean, like for a little bit of perspective, and we don't even have green data yet, right? Like we don't really have any true numbers of what's happened since we've gone green. Yeah.
In the coming weeks, things will probably intensify, and it just defies logic for it not to happen.
Yeah.
Because there's just more people socializing.
But the day before we went to yellow, we were at 91, and now we're at 650. So going green and not wearing a mask and not doing these things, and I mean, I know that there's like I've seen the evidence that wearing a mask works. Coughing into a petri dish, like even that little bit. So, and I mean, you wear a mask all the time. How many breathing problems do you have from wearing a mask?
None from wearing a mask. I have my own
your own peccadillos that cause me.
But even me, somebody with medical issues that have had to do with my lungs, I wear a surgical mask. We have to wear them everywhere in the hospital. Those are 12-hour shifts. But on the COVID unit, I have to wear an N95 mask. Now, we do take breaks from wearing those. Usually we'll go in for 2 hours and then come out for 2 hours or an hour, depending on what your staffing ratio is. But and it can be anxiety inducing just to have all that stuff on your face. And I don't think anybody should wear an N95 mask for like a 12-hour shift straight, because that's not really safe. But surgical masks or fabric masks are pretty breathable, and they're coming out with some good designs too. And like the idea that wearing a surgical mask causes like high CO2 or anything like that is just total like nonsense. I mean, look at surgeons and surge techs. They all have been wearing masks all day long for many years, and there's no issues there.
Yeah, you can cuss on the show if you want to. So if you want to call out bullshit, you can call out bullshit. This ain't the radio.
Yeah.
Have you seen like the follow-up? Because one of the things that really got to me early, and I've got friends in Italy, so I was really on top in the beginning when Italy was just ravaged, and some of the craziest things I saw was like obituary pages growing from like 2 to 24, but the thing that got to me is when you survive, there's still something wrong. Like your lungs are fucked, your body's weak, like you're still susceptible to more. Have you seen that in the people that come back, or just the ravages of it, that you're not just going to die, right? Like even if you live, there's still something.
Right. So we talk a lot about like the death count and what that means to us, but we kind of forget about the fact that there are people who get critically ill who don't die from it, but can have long-term consequences. Now, I work in an acute care setting, so I'm working with acutely hospitalized patients. I don't think I can think of any patient I've had that was somebody who came in and then came back, other than people who went to the emergency room. They weren't sick enough to be admitted and then ended up coming back because they required oxygen or something like that. So that's my professional perspective, but I do know where a lot of these people get discharged to, and like what their condition is on discharge. And there are definitely people who go home like on large amounts of oxygen and have to go to rehab and stuff like that just to get their lungs to the point where they don't have to wear oxygen constantly.
So it's been such a big problem in so many areas of the country, linked to nursing homes, both patients in nursing homes, staff at nursing homes. We've been fortunate, I guess, here
Hi,
in
Oscar.
Erie. Oh, hey, dude. We've been fortunate, I guess, here in Erie that hasn't been a major issue for us compared to even other areas in our region of the state that it has been. Like I know it's been a major issue in Beaver County, just to pick an example from our half of the state.
Mhm.
Is that luck of the draw, or have we actually been doing something right?
I don't know, and I don't think anybody really knows. I think that obviously our population density is on our side, so there's just less likely of spreading it amongst each other. But it could be a lot of different factors, and I don't know that there's really a right answer to that. Um, it's probably a little column A, a little column B. You know what I mean?
I think more people need to be able to talk like that. Do you get frustrated? I mean, not just watching the news and especially seeing social media, like especially that, like, but I mean, just people's behavior. Just, I mean, what is it like to see the front line and then see this fucking ignorance happen around you?
Well, I will tell you that, I didn't take COVID patients right when they first started in Erie. I was kind of on deck for a while. And then once I finally did have those patients and I saw it for myself, it was a big eye opener because the people are very sick. Anybody who's requiring hospitalization which obviously doesn't account for everybody. But I mean, social media is garbage. It always has been. It's just this is the topic we're talking about now, right? But there's so many ridiculous conspiracies and videos and all that stuff. It's pretty like the 5G network stuff or like just stuff that totally defies like reality. But people will buy into whatever to feed whatever their narrative of the situation is. So it's crazy. And so I've had like many times where I was just like, I can't talk about this, with a person who's close to me. I try to like educate as much as I can because that's like part of what my career path is, but it's really
you can't,
experts on everything,
I am way less essential than you will ever be, both in employment and as a human being. But I've been back at work for a long time, as of you, and the things that have struck me have been like the traffic change, because that's noticeable, because I've had to drive all over the place, but going from just like you're the only car you see for 10 minutes to like bumper to bumper fucking traffic. But also the kind of like, oh, you're out here because you're essential and you're doing it, and we're here with you, and great to just like get this done,
Right.
like for you who is doing the real frontline work. Like I love it on State Bayfront. There's a sign tied to one of the posts, and it says like healthcare workers, essential today, essential every day. And it's been up for months, and it's all faded now, and it's just all ripped, and it's just up there all herky jerky and twisted. And it's like, yep, that's pretty much it. But you're doing this shit and you're watching people get sick. You're watching people die. Like what? You can't compartmentalize that.
Well, I think just when you work in healthcare, if you are the kind of person who can't compartmentalize things like that, like it may not be the right job for you, pretty much. And it's like you become
faded blood.
Yeah. You become jaded towards it because it's a day-to-day basis thing. People dying, people being really ill. Like you have to have some kind of like disconnection from them in order to be able to do your job like objectively, pretty much. But there is like we get attached to patients, especially because it's like a select few people who work with them, and so a lot of times like we're just constantly the ones that are with them, and sometimes somebody can be really sick for 2-3 weeks, and you kind of like bond with that person, you know, like you find yourself like using more names than room numbers, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
and it becomes like you get wrapped up like in the outcome of the situation for them sometimes.
Charles, you're a journalist. Do you have any questions that you'd like to know?
You know, just from you being in your field and being around a lot of statistics of this pandemic, when do you think things will go back to quote unquote normal? Do you? I hear certain predictions like, you know, later this fall, early next year. What time frame do you see is safe for not just Erie County but for every place else?
That's another question I'm gonna have to answer with I don't know. And anybody who claims to tell you that they do know, they don't. You know, you can make predictions, and it all depends on what interventions people take. Do we luck out? Do we get a vaccine created? And I would say the answer to that question is definitely not until after we have a vaccine. And then there will still be obstacles because some people are going to want to get a vaccine. There will be, you know, supply chain issues probably, but we definitely need to get a vaccine out there, and then maybe we can start to relax. But at the same time, people are already like over any kind of social distancing, and
Right.
so I don't know what's going to happen with that because it's just like unforeseen consequences. But we know that it's killed a lot of people already, and we know that it's spreading, and it's spreading rapidly, and it's probably going to go on for a while. You know, like it's been. I think at the beginning of this, everybody thought we're going to be off work for 2 weeks, and everybody was like, "Hell yeah, like 2-week vacation." And
yeah, and we'll just knock this right out. And
no, it's not. It's going to take a lot longer. Like I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, a couple years from now, we still see remnants of social distancing and masks and stuff like that.
Right.
Because these kind of things are really tough to get under control.
I think mask wearing is just something that's going to, you know, you're going to see more of it. Not even just COVID, but pollution, but all these, you know, just all these other factors.
It's been normalized in so many Asian cultures for years and years, and it was always sort of like, oh, they're so eccentric with their masks, and turns out they just knew what they were doing the whole time, and apparently we're now getting with the program.
So one thing that I saw just about that, and you know, I don't know if this is like statistical or whatever, but I read something that said that in Asian culture, it's just common courtesy that if you're ill, that you wear a mask wherever you go, especially because it's so congested. You know, so many people on top of each other. And I think that you'll probably find that more people will start doing that here, but we also have a really totally different culture and
because in American culture, it's traditional to go, you know what, fuck other people.
Yes, that's the American dream.
I've said it before and I'll say it again, and it's one of the most eye-opening things I ever heard about this. Is just like we ruined it when we told Americans that wearing a mask protects other people. If we would have told them it protected themselves, there would be masks that said like Big Balla 2020, come see me, with a Twitter handle. And instead it's like, no, you'd protect other people. And they're like, well, fuck those
why
people.
would I want to do that?
I'll kill them.
Pussies.
I want to be patient zero for this cluster. Fuck them.
Well, America has way too much pride, and that's what has fucked us over for so long.
Yeah.
For so long. You know, we're late on everything because of our pride and because of our egos, and like I don't get us.
Yeah.
I don't get us.
We're Americans.
I think a lot of other countries are looking at us and going like, what are they doing over there? Like, why are they doing this to themselves?
Yeah.
And but honestly, like I'm guilty of it too. Like there is something to be said for being able to socialize, for being able to see people's faces.
Sure.
You know, even doing this right now, like this is like a welcome socialization for me because it's really hard to just like stay in your house, not talk to anybody constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get
Yeah.
where people are coming
Right.
from that aspect.
I'm going to ask a personal question you can refuse to answer. Aside from anyone that you live with, I have a roommate. We live in a house, and we can distance. He gets to work from home. I don't. So, and then for a while before, I wasn't working and he was still out. So it's, but aside from that, there are two people that I see, and then I've seen my family a very small amount of times while maintaining distance. But on average, and in it, like all of us, like how many people outside of your,
I've
like
been more
social realm?
I've been more social than that, but they're all like tight in the circle, and like
Yep.
I like to let people know what I do for a living if they don't know, if I'm gonna be in attendance at something. And it's always like small groups, like like my kid for his birthday party, we had a little fire outside. We had a couple family members come out, but we were all like outside, not up on each other's laps in the living room or whatever. So because I do think it's healthy to socialize. There can be unforeseen consequences from that too, but I definitely try not to like expose anybody to me just because of what I do without their knowledge, because that's not cool. And some people have health issues they don't want to talk about, or they have elderly parents or whatever, so like I don't want to subject anybody to that. But like I said, there's something to be said for still socializing to some extent, but obviously you just have to be careful.
Well, and I think it's it's a thing that's possible to do while mitigating your risk and your risk to other people.
Yeah, and I think as we move forward in this process, we will see more recommendations geared towards still allowing some socialization, still allowing the economy to be open and functioning, while still maintaining certain social distancing. But like really, like as far as all of it's all wrapped up, like just not going to like big crowds and washing your hands, um just those really basic things can really prevent stuff from spreading. Like if you're not out coughing and coughing on your hands and touching stuff at the grocery store, like probably you're not going to be like spreading anything to anyone. It's always still a good idea to wear a mask, but just to prevent that, because that's
well, and I still, whether it's being out in nature or whether it's being like on the patio somewhere rather than inside somewhere, I still feel like 400% safer being outdoors than I do being indoors anywhere.
Yeah. I don't know if like if there's data there to support whether like outdoors versus indoors, but like people all get sick in the wintertime because they all congregate inside. Like everybody thinks it's because it's cold or the weather is not great, but really it's just because people congregate inside together. So you're just more likely to spread it around. So I guess from that aspect, I think like if you're gonna socialize, outside activities where you're less likely to be in a small enclosed room, wash your hands a lot, wear a mask, just be aware of like who you're around, what risk factors they might have. Like you might not want to go hang out at your grandma's house, or somebody who's had a history of cancer or an autoimmune disorder or something like that. Like you just have to be aware.
I just want to let you know that the reasoning that the businesses are open and the reason that we're doing all this stuff is that during COVID-19 pandemic, the 1% in the world or in America have gained $585 billion in wealth, while the working class has lost $746 billion worth of their earnings. Earnings, not wealth, their earnings, money that they were due for the work that they did. So I want you to understand that we are not green because we are safe, because we are healthy, because it is over. We are green because green is the color of money, and that's all that they care about, because America has made existence about money. Your life is worth 37 cents broken down to its component parts. As a laborer, it is $7.25 an hour in Pennsylvania. So you are worthless except as a cog in a wheel to make rich people feel better about their existence.
That's
and
right.
to provide the spice that makes their world go round. People are getting sick. People are dying. Liz has to be at work. I have to be at work. And it's bullshit. So wear a mask. Even if it doesn't save us, wear a mask because it helps. Wear a mask because you care. Just wear a fucking mask and be nice to each other like you're a human fucking being. In this
it's not going to do anything besides maybe make you somewhat uncomfortable. And there's other masks out there that are more comfortable if that's an issue for you.
Well,
but it's not going to make you sick to wear a mask.
You're definitely not going to make anybody else sick by wearing a mask.
Right.
You know, you can debate, and no, you can't, but like you could debate whether or not you'll make anybody else sick by not wearing a mask. You will.
It's not that much of an inconvenience to potentially stop hundreds of thousands of deaths.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. As we were talking about earlier, like, what would an ER visit look like if someone, for example, went into a local grocery store and wasn't wearing a mask, and a good Samaritan went over and kicked them in the fucking nuts for not wearing a mask? Because this is my new thing. Like, we don't need a mandate to wear masks. We need a mandate to be able to fucking shame and harm people that don't wear a mask.
Vigilante,
because that is the potential.
Vigilante mandate.
Yeah, it's a reverse mandate for, you know, like guardian angels in the 80s on the New York subway.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a red beret and you just get to go around and kick people in the nuts for not wearing a mask. So versus COVID, what would a good kick in the crotch do for you in the ER?
I mean, like COVID, there's different levels of severity for that, you know?
Well, I'd rather kick you in the fucking nuts than let you die from COVID. So wear a fucking mask. But I'm serious. Wouldn't that be dope as shit? Just have a bunch of people in like red berets stranded around fucking green places that are open that just get to kick people in the nuts for not wearing a mask.
It's going to be the
they
new,
or you know, when you come in the room, you know, Michael.
It's going to be the next season of Watchmen.
Oh, everyone's stealing my ideas. Gentlemen, any other questions for Liz?
I don't think so. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, you've been excellent. Like, I really appreciate, I mean, I've known you a long time through many incantations, but I'm really happy that you're here, and I really appreciate what you're doing, and, you know, stay safe and be everything. Definitely. But man, what a dumbass place to want to educate people. But you're worth it. You're good enough to do it. If anyone can, it's you.
Well, thanks for having me.
Most definitely.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Charles, it's always a pleasure to see you, man. That video was amazing. That was great, man. The song's great, but that video is something. Like, you know, you really did something with that. That was really nice, man. But everything that you said and everything that you talked about, I believe in the peace and love and energy that flows within without us. And you got it, and you're on it. So it's always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Hey, thank you guys.
Well, shall we get into another piece of music, and then Michael, you and I can say goodnight to the people?
Yeah. Adam and Michael release their white guilt by having black friends on, and try to educate you about a pandemic you don't care about by having medical, knowledgeable professionals on. This is what we do.
But we call
social distancing.
We call it social distancing variety hour for short. This is
we got
Matt
our own
Boland.
Dance. This is fucking the best.
This is Broke Boland. It's called Time to Resist.
Broke Boland. We should be on his show.
works from above. We got to get these people out of places they belong. Same orders in Boston, they're singing in their cells. Why are you so afraid of people just standing round? Then there's New York City, they're filled with pepper spray. Two girls screaming and you don't hear what they say. Don't resist with violence, resist with common sense. Show the world that there's a chance that we could coexist. Either way, it's time to resist. Time to resist. Time to resist. It's time to resist. Yes, it is. Smoke grenades and flash bombs and peace signs in the air. You say that you don't want a war, well, why you drag us there? Hey, Mr. Policeman, we are just like you. Patriots fighting for the red, white, and the blue. Hey, Mr. Policeman, you are just like us. Turn to your lieutenant, put him down and slap the cuffs. Don't resist with violence, resist with common sense. Show the world that there's a chance that we could coexist. Either way, it's time to resist. Time to resist. It's time to resist. It's time to resist. I don't know about you and you don't know about me, but the land we're living in is not so very free. I can live so happy if I stay quiet as a mouse. I can live so happy if I don't leave my house. Well, there's a line in the sand that divides us from Uncle Sam. Well, there's a line in the sand that divides us from Uncle Sam. Well, there's a line in the sand that divides us from Uncle Sam. Well, there's a line in the sand that divides us from Uncle Sam. Yes, there is. That's why it is time to resist. Time to resist. I said it's time to resist. It's time to resist. Time to resist. Time to resist. Time to resist. I said it's time to resist. Just say no, kids.
Social
Social
distancing.
distancing variety hour.
That was Broke Boland, not to be confused with Matty B. It's
Matthew Boland
called Matthew Boland
of the Mill Creek Bolands.
of the Broke Bolands. It's called Time to Resist. So Ren just sent me this. I'm reading stuff on my phone now. Apparently the mall, our mall, the Mill Creek Mall, has filed a federal lawsuit against Governor Tom Wolf and Dr. Rachel Levine, the Secretary of Health, because they administered their closing plan in an arbitrary and capricious manner, devoid of logic, facts, or fairness, blah, 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 bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. So, fuck them all.
Well, I guess the Cafaros are mad because the mafia ain't what it used to be.
Well,
but anyway,
yeah.
Like, what do you?
I mean,
what do you need from last season's Aeropostale that you are they still a thing? I don't know.
No,
I don't know. What do
think
the
that's still
kids
a thing.
wear these days? Do you need to has it been a long? Can you not find black nail polish online? You have to go to Hot Topic.
Yeah, I mean hottopic.com. I'm sure will deliver it to your house. I assume hottopic.com is their website, but
like
I mean, I get you know, if you're the mall, I get that you're pissed off that other people were allowed to open and you're not, but like.
You're a fucking mall.
But is it?
You're the least essential.
Is it a good look to be filing a federal lawsuit against the government about? I mean, you are the mob.
They're getting paid. They're getting paid to do it. This is a test case. This is pure economics on another level. I'm breaking the conspiracy theory wide open. This is one of those fucking bullshit test cases that they're going to use to float the idea
that Citizens
that
United or
this
somebody's
pandemic
paying for
is
it.
This pandemic is going against the capitalist nature of our American society, and therefore we must ignore it in order to make the almighty dollar. This is why I'm a socialist, kids.
Yeah.
Also because socialism's super sexy and chicks dig it. So you should be a socialist.
Yeah.
Because you should partake in the patriarchy's idea that love is all that matters, and it should be a beautiful woman.
All the girls or boys or people of indeterminate gender that your heart desires, just be a socialist like Michael.
There you go.
Notwithstanding this welcome development, they're happy that we're in green phase. They're considering the further pursuit of their lawsuit to hopefully ensure that people keep making money. Fuck them all.
Fuck them all.
Yeah.
Fuck. I mean, like, we could be an autonomous collective in this town.
Yeah.
We really have so much farmland. We have so much labor. We have so much, at least we have the buildings that could be used for manufacturing and have in the past.
We've got people.
We have the capacity.
We've got people with the resources to set off hundreds of dollars worth of fireworks every night just for shits and giggles. I told you I was going to get back to the fireworks thing.
Yeah, I believe it, man.
Yeah.
Like, there are people who have boats at the yacht club that could lose 20 feet off of their yachts and still have a very large yacht for Lake Erie, and especially for Erie, Pennsylvania.
And one of us without a yacht would have a 20 feet's worth of an ass end of a yacht that wouldn't float. But hey.
Brother, you and I are 20 feet worth of an ass end of a yacht that doesn't float.
But hey, at least we'd be boat people.
Oh, what's that fucking yacht rock guy's name that won a Grammy and then never did anything? Sailing.
It's Christopher Cross.
Chris Cross, yeah. He writes songs about us.
Yes.
that's how white, pasty, and floaty yacht we are.
That's how boat people we are. So
Christopher Cross, boat shoes. Man, I was in such a good mood this weekend. I had a wonderful time at the alpaca farm. Blue Rooster, 3 Springs, alpaca farm, Kennedy, New York. You can find it on all the best places to find camping.
Is it Blue Rooster or is it 3 Springs or is it Blue Rooster 3 Springs? Because that's really confusing.
It's Blue Rooster is like the grounds.
Okay.
Right?
So it's the 3 Springs
alpaca farm is the alpaca
Blue
farm.
Rooster. Got it.
Blue Rooster. I think it's named after her husband's cock, personally, but that's just me.
He should really have.
If I had a farm, well, it's like a purple-headed warrior.
I guess
it's one of my favorite lines ever from a movie. Is he thrust his purple-headed warrior into a quivering mound of love pudding, some naked gun. Anyway, I hold on. There's things I hold on to, but anyway, I had a beautiful weekend, and I highly it was awesome, fantastic. Take someone that you can be with. Take your other self with you, and go camping at 3 Springs Alpaca Farms
at Blue Rooster.
Yeah,
somewhere in New York.
We should do a festival there next year for all the people that didn't die at Chafee's this year,
or at Fader Fest.
Yeah, dude, I love Doug. I love Doug Chafee. He's a good, solid dude, but you can't have this festival, man. I'm not going.
I might be obligated to go, but if I do, my plan is to show up and play a set and bounce. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. It's a beautiful thing, and we need beautiful things in our lives. But I don't need 3 days of fucking silly people taking ketamine and hugging each other and running around the grounds.
Like the whole Looks After Dark part of that whole experience is something that I want to keep all the social distance in the world from at this point. I'm already privately on record saying it's a bad idea. I guess I'm now publicly on record saying it's a bad idea.
And I'm not
bad idea.
And let it be known that this is not an attack on the Chafies or the festival, the gathering, any of that. It is simply like that's something we have done every summer for years.
Sure.
It's an establishment of it made summer. Like every year I've talked about it on the show and by being there. And that was knew it was summer.
My life literally would not be what my life is if it were not for Chafies.
Yeah, I mean the people that the people that have moved away and come home only for that I would never see, I see there. And then even all the people around here that just because of by hook or by crook, by work or by the mistake of children, don't go out all the time. They go to the Chavy gathering, and that's when you get to see them. Yeah. So it is a blessed sacrament of living in Erie.
Yeah.
That doesn't have rapey priests.
I don't want to see any of those people right now, though.
Yeah, and I don't want to be there. And there's a whole contingent of people that are going to go just to do nefarious things in a beautiful setting and have their fun, but are
going to do it irresponsibly.
Untrustworthy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nope, I agree.
And that goes for like eating out. And trust me, I love eating out. But if you're going out to restaurants, fuck you. Just imagine one server who is asymptomatic and just keeps going and serving all day, all week, all month.
Yeah.
And how many people in our little hamlet would be infected?
Especially if it's somewhere cool, because we all go the same places.
Yep. And that's why, like I've been trying to change up my co-fairs that I go to. Because they're busy and because they're, But I went to Sheetz the other day and I got a coffee, and about the last third of it was just full of coffee grounds. And I was just I was chewing my coffee, and I was like, this is no way to live. This ain't living. Marvin Gaye was right. That was decades ago.
I've been buying so much more coffee because I've been making so much more coffee at home. Is this how much coffee I go through at work? It must be. But, yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, and it's not even like it just is. It's one of those things, like, I can't make my own cigarettes.
Well, you could, but...
well, I can roll my own things, but I can't make my own.
Then you'd be one of those skeevy roll your own kind of guys, and you're not that kind of guy.
I'm not that kind of skeevy.
No, you're a whole different kind of skeevy. You're like Donald Fagen skeevy. You're not like roll your own cigarettes kind of skeevy.
I love alpacas.
You do love alpacas. I'm glad you love alpacas. I hope they love you back.
And I'm the boss. I don't think I should talk on the air anymore.
Yeah, I have nothing to add to that. This has been another social distancing variety hour. Fuck them all. Go wash your hands. We love you.
It's Charles Brown.
Yes.
Liz Kuzmish. Beautiful. Thank you for being with us. Next week, more exciting people with more exciting talk and hats. It'll be great.
More hats.
Social distancing.
I promise to wear more hats next week. Love you guys. Good night.